My body has gotten tighter, has gotten leaner. My boobs, by the way, they have not shrunk. So how amazing is that? I still get to keep the assets the size that I want, whereas everything else, they're leaning up, they're toning up. I'm very happy with my body today. Why hello SB fam, it's me Bella the Steak and Butter Gal. Welcome back to my channel. Today's video, it's going to be a Q&A about everything that you guys want to know regarding my 5 months of nothing but beef. That's right, so the past 5 months, every single time I sat down to eat, I only ate beef. So I have a bunch of questions pulled up on my phone. It's about 30 plus questions. So I'm just gonna dive right in to your questions that you asked and answer them. If you do want to contribute to the next Q&A that I do, make sure you follow me on Instagram. That's usually where I ask for questions for you guys to submit. My Instagram handle is @steakandbuttergal, and I'll always ask for questions in my stories. All right, so the first question here is by in.it899. Did you eat organ meat too on your only meat journey? So it was only beef, and no, I did not eat any organs. So I made it a point to cut out even the beef liver and the beef heart and the beef brains, the organs that I usually eat. And by the way, I do eat my organs 100% raw. It's either frozen or it's either just thawed and completely raw. So I made it a point to cut those out just because I wanted the least amount of variables in my whole experiment. I had no idea that this beef only challenge to myself was going to last 5 months, but from day one, I made sure that I really ate nothing but beef, muscle meat. So no, I did not eat any organs. Next question is by Adrenaline. Do you rotate between different cuts or just ribeye? That's a great question. Because I did beef only, that meant I had the freedom to do other cuts besides ribeye. I made sure that I had a whole variety of my favorite beef meals available. I don't know how I would have done with just ribeye only, and I don't know if I want to do it anytime soon because I do love my variety in texture, in cuts, even just how it looks on my plate. I enjoy that excitement in variety. So because I was only doing beef, I made sure that I had chuck roast, either cut up into little bite-sized pieces or cut up into slices. Other days I will have my go-to Costco ribeye roasts, which I slice up myself and air fry into ribeye steaks. But other days I'll lean on ButcherBox, which is great when I want that kick in flavor and complexity of taste. Also, ButcherBox ribeyes are my favorite when I'm in the mood for something less fatty than the Costco ribeye roast. That's one of the biggest differences and the benefits of having ButcherBox ribeyes and Costco ribeyes, because the Costco ribeyes are always so fatty, and I always buy it untrimmed, the whole entire roast, so the fat on there is just very generous. Sometimes I'll actually cut off that fat, cut it into cubes, and snack on it raw. So the days where I need high fat, I will go to Costco's ribeyes. But the days where I'm like, I've had plenty of fat, I kind of just want muscle meat and protein and just steak, I will go to the ButcherBox ribeyes, and it's not too lean for me, and I still love the taste, especially because the grass-fed, grass-finished ribeyes that ButcherBox provides is so delicious. If you haven't tried it, guys, I'll put like a snippet of what it looks like and how I cook it. I usually cook ButcherBox on the stovetop because they slice it a lot thinner, so they're perfect like little snacks. I'll eat 5 at a time for a whole meal, and I just saute it on my stovetop, couple seconds each side. It is so good. So those are for my leaner days, and the Costco ribeyes are when I'm like on my period or I'm breaking a 48-hour fast and I'm really hungry for fats. Costco it is. I also love the Costco K-barbecue Asian cut flanken style short ribs. They have a whole recipe video on it. I'll link it down below. Those are great when I want like almost a treat meal, just because they're very hands-on. They require a lot of like biting and nibbling and like snagging off the bone. Oh, it's so fun to eat. So when I'm celebrating something or I just want like a really exciting treat, I will have about 4 pounds of the Asian style short ribs, and I always get it from Costco. The last most predominant beef meal that I would lean on whenever I wanted more variety, New York strip steaks. They're not nearly as fatty as ribeyes. So if you have an aversion to that fat on the ribeyes and it's just too nauseating for you, check out New York strips because they're also very tender if you get the right type of New York strip. I know from some shops and butcher stores, it can be very tough. So you do have to be selective. But from the times that I've tried New York strips from Costco, they've always been excellent. My favorite part of the New York strip is that gelatinous, crunchy, chewy side, the strip, basically, New York strip. The strip of that steak is so good. It just adds variety and texture, like I mentioned. So run down really quick, New York strip, Costco ribeyes when I want lots of fat and I need it for my hormones and period. ButcherBox ribeyes are excellent when I just want a moderate fat day, excellent flavor in my beef. And the K-barbecue short ribs from Costco, the Asian flat cut when I want an exciting treat meal. That about covers the top 4 varieties that I would lean on during these past 5 months of beef only. Did you salt at all or take any electrolytes during your beef only experiment? Okay, so let's actually talk about electrolytes. I really think that I'm an anomaly when it comes to electrolytes and carnivore because I never really needed salt or any electrolytes at all. So when I first went carnivore, I actually didn't salt at all. I just wanted to taste the flavor of that first bite of animal foods after being vegan for 6 years. So I made sure that I didn't season it, I didn't salt it, I didn't add anything but just the food itself. And I remember my first bite ever of carnivore food, of animal food, was eggs scrambled in butter. And the butter was unsalted, so there was no salt at all. And my gosh, it was just fireworks in my brain. And I felt like I was suddenly floating in the air. I just felt like I was back to life. And ever since, I've always enjoyed the taste of meats, eggs, butter, whatever I ate on carnivore without any seasonings or salt because it was just so flavorful to me. And then there was a period of time last year when I experimented with adding in salts just because I was curious and I wanted to make sure that salt really wasn't necessary for me. So I was open to adding in salts. I did it for 2 whole weeks. The only thing that I played with, the only variable that I added in was salt, just to make sure the conclusion was accurate. And guess what? After those 2 weeks of gradually adding the salt, I did not feel as good. In fact, I felt very lethargic. I could not sleep through the night. I woke up countless times. It made me extremely parched and thirsty. When I woke up in the morning after sleeping, I distinctly remember my throat would be parched, just so dry that if I swallowed, I would immediately start coughing because it was just so bone dry. So no, I actually did not have good results or a good experience at all doing my 2 weeks of salt. Now, I do need to share another case that I see with my own eyes every single day. Steak and Butter Guy, my boyfriend, is very different from me because he absolutely needs salt. It may be because he's way more active than me. He goes to the gym every day and his goals are different from mine. He wants to change his body composition. He wants to increase muscle mass. He wants to get stronger, bulkier, and lose fat. And he just wants to feel better, right? And he's new to carnivore. So for him, he really needed to lean on salt. His favorite salt to add to his meat, Redmond's Real Salt. I'll link it down below. Everything that I talk about product-wise, I'll just link down below. And he would salt to taste every single meal. Right now it's still August, so the summer is finally coming to an end, but this summer was extremely hot in LA. So there were times where when he needed to go to the gym and he needed to make sure that he had the strength, the endurance to do his workouts, he actually leaned on some electrolyte powders. The past few weeks, Steak and Butter Guy has been playing around with adding electrolytes into his water. So I just want to show you really quick what he has been testing out. It's this brand called Element. At first I thought it was Elementi, but it's Element. The box is really cute. It says this box is salty AF. So they have different flavors. So each of these flavors have as you can see, sodium, magnesium, and potassium. Absolutely no sugar, no gluten. It's paleo and keto friendly. It really helped him on the days where he really needed to make sure that he wasn't sweating too hard, especially when the weather is this hot. He's already sweating at home. He's going to be sweating a buttload more in the gym. So he would put this in his water. This is what it looks like. They're just like little tiny packets here. They also have unflavored, by the way. So if you do not want any flavor or taste of sweetness, because there is stevia in these flavored ones, if you don't want any stevia because you know it will trigger your sugar cravings, they have original unflavored electrolyte packets as well. He just pours this in his drink, shakes it up, drinks it on his way to the gym, and it works for him. So here's a quick close-up look of what the packaging, what the boxes look like. Here you can see how much sodium, potassium, magnesium is in each little packet. I like to prepare Steak and Butter Guy's Element drink before he goes to the gym every day. So this is the routine. I use this glass bottle with a twisty cap. I pour in the powder, I mix it up, and I also shake it up, add some ice cubes, and it's apparently a really nice, refreshing, tangy drink, which gives him a lot of energy for his workouts. I reached out to Element and they gave me a special link for you guys to try out their electrolyte mixes. You can get a sample pack for free and you just have to pay for shipping. So check out the description box if you want to give Element electrolytes a go. How do I learn to eat beef if I don't like the taste of it? You don't have to eat beef. That's my best answer. If you don't like the taste of beef, please don't try to force yourself to eat beef just because everybody else in the carnivore community loves beef. Yes, it's true that most carnivores love beef, but I have seen so many cases and so many carnivores that I know and talk to, they prefer lamb over beef, even just poultry over beef, just leaner cuts. So you may be at a stage in your carnivore journey where you just do better off with leaner, lower fat meats. Check out other cuts of meat: chicken, turkey, lamb has great flavor and just as great of a nutrient profile as beef, but I think the flavor is quite different from beef. I'm actually going to be introducing lamb as the first food to break my beef only experiment. But anyways, try wild game, venison, deer, elk, if you can find it. You can even try seafood. We often forget about seafood, but seafood has some of the best flavors ever, and you have so many types of seafood to try, so you do not have to feel like you need to eat beef only. Angela asks, is there any cut of beef you avoid? If so, which ones? I usually just avoid the ones that are really, really lean and really, really tough. Believe it or not, there are beef cuts that are just not edible, in my opinion. There's very lean cuts out there, and I just don't find any benefit when I eat cuts that are super lean. I need my beef cuts to have some type of marbling, if not a lot of marbling and fat. So the leanest I will go is ButcherBox ribeyes. It's just perfect for me when I need that variety and offset of a little bit higher in protein and lower in fat meals. I am Jackie Jam. Hi Jackie, love you. Is it bad to just stick to one food? The simplicity is so great. If there's one thing that I took away from these past 5 months, it's that less is more, way more. Just by eating one type of meat, just one food, I have had so much more freedom in so many other areas and aspects of life. So for example, eating just beef has given me so much more mental clarity. And when I have more mental clarity, I'm able to get more things done. I'm able to be more productive. Cooking just one food has given me so much more time. You know how valuable and precious time is. So to have more time on my hands, again, I can get more things done. I can enjoy life more. I can spend more time with Steak and Butter Guy, my pups, and my family. So it has given me so much more freedom just by cutting down variety in what I eat. So I don't think there is anything negative in eating just one food, especially on carnivore, especially if it's meat. But with one exception, you have to enjoy what you're eating. You have to actually feel good. Is beef only right for everyone? Can it work amazingly for everyone, just like how it has been for me? No, because everybody is different, okay? So maybe you just don't like the taste of beef, just like that previous question I answered. Well, then beef only is definitely not going to be for you, and you're not going to feel like you have all the freedom in the world because you're going to feel like you are limited and that you are restricted. I do think beef only is a beautiful reset even for just 2 weeks, right? You don't even have to make it to 30 days. Just a week or 2 weeks of beef only is an excellent reset if, for example, you slipped off track or you ate some type of cheese that really caused a bad reaction. It's great to have beef only to come back to square one. All right, next question by Keto Meal Mama. Hi, Cherish. Love you so much. What was the greatest benefit of beef only? Now that is a tough question to answer because I've honestly seen, felt, experienced so many amazing drastic benefits. But I have to say, it's the great mood combined with the amazing mental clarity and productivity. It's mostly to do with my brain, okay? That has been unsurpassed with anything that I have eaten, anything that I have experienced with the past 2.5 years of carnivore. By the way, I'm almost 3 years. I'm now 2 years and 8 months carnivore. So the past 5 months alone of just eating beef only, like I have never felt happier. And I'm telling you that uplifted positive energy and mood, like everything is gonna go your way. And every day is a beautiful and great day. The moment you wake up and you open your eyes, it's such a great feeling. And it's like that burst of energy when you get up. You are ready to start your day. You don't need an hour, 2 hours to warm up, to slowly wake up, to be able to feel ready to start your day, right? I never really had any dread when I knew that any certain day coming up was going to be very busy and packed with meetings, coachings, interviews, right? I looked forward to every day. And I think that was just so amazing to experience because day after day after day, I would feel like that. And life just became so awesome, so positive. Just truly rainbows and unicorns, you know? On top of that, I always say this, I'm gonna sound like a broken record, but it felt like not only did I have great mood and I felt so ambitious and ready to start every day, I also felt like I was taking this limitless pill the moment I woke up. I felt like I tapped into all of my brain. I felt like I had such good efficiency and productivity. I felt like I was super razor sharp when it came to any task that I was doing, anything, any editing, any video I was making, any meeting that I was hosting. Everything was just so clear and everything that I wanted to do was just right in front of me and I got everything done. Like I can rant about how great I have felt these past 5 months forever, but I'm just gonna stop there and answer Cherish's question. Steak and Butter Guy is texting me. He says, so proud of you. He's always so supportive and so kind. I love him so much. Aww. He's texting me such sweet things. And again, carnivore diet has changed his life. It has really changed how great of a boyfriend he is to me. He's so nice to me now. He's so sweet. And that's because he's feeling good. I'm telling you, if you want to feel good, if you want to be a better person, a better daughter, a better father, better mother, a better friend, boyfriend, girlfriend, if you just want to be better, think about what you're eating, okay? So if you aren't carnivore and you're new to this channel, really consider just giving carnivore 30 days, okay? Just try it out, see what impact it gives you. And if you have no idea how to start, I'm just gonna plug my 30-day challenges. I have created 30-day challenges that started the beginning of this year for the purpose of helping people like you who are new to carnivore, who wanna hone in on certain goals, who wanna tweak, experiment, who wants a community to actually talk to, real people. 30 days, every single week, there are actual Zoom community calls, Zoom meetings for you guys to hop onto. You can talk to me in all of those meetings. You can talk to my team of coaches, Coach Raymond and Coach Steven, top-rated carnivore coaches. And you can talk to amazing carnivore guests who I invite every month. By the way, September guests are freaking fantastic. We have Kelly Hogan herself. We have Linda the Carnitarian. We have Lulu Eats Meat. She's been a guest on my channel before. And we have Dr. Elizabeth Bright, a carnivore doctor. So if you're hesitating about carnivore or you have no idea how to start or stick to it, or you just want to ask me questions or just hang out with carnivores, join the 30-day challenge. I have it every single month. If you don't join September, I'll still be here for you. October, November, December, next year, all of eternity, who knows? For as long as I'm carnivore, and that's for life. Okay, next question. What was the food you missed the most when doing beef only? Okay, the first few weeks, oh my gosh, I was hesitating, I was doubting, I was filled with regrets. I committed to beef only, I announced it to everyone on Instagram and YouTube, and I don't like it. I don't feel good. I miss egg pudding, I miss my sticks of butter, I miss eggs, you know? So the first 2 weeks were hard. And I think that's actually quite normal because I talked to Coach Raymond about this, and he confirms that with any new experiment, with any cutting down, eliminating, especially beef only, there's going to be a whole new adaptation all over again. So it doesn't matter how long you were carnivore. I was carnivore for 2.5 years, and when I went beef only, I had to go through another phase of adaptation. It lasted 2 weeks for me, where I doubted, where I felt depleted and deprived, and where I just didn't feel good. So yeah, I missed egg pudding, butter. Those were the two top foods that I missed the most when I was going through those 2 weeks. But after, it definitely went away really quickly. What I felt instead were not regrets, but rather a better mood, better mental clarity, excellent sleep, all of the benefits that I listed previously. And I just became enamored with how I felt. And I also really came to love my beef meals. So again, I'm really glad that I had those 4 options of the beef meals because I leaned on them a lot, and I made sure that I switch it up throughout the week. What is your favorite quick all beef meal? The ButcherBox ribeyes, just because they slice it up so thin that if I were to cook it, no more than 30 seconds for each ribeye, times 5. Let's say I eat 5 for a meal. That's like what? 2 minutes tops, and I'm ready to eat. How often do you practice your piano nowadays? Not a lot at all. In fact, it's kind of embarrassing. I feel ashamed. But hey, I have a good excuse. I don't have a piano in my apartment, okay? Because it doesn't fit in this small apartment. However, some exciting things are going to be happening in September. So in a few weeks, we will be having a grand piano, like under our roof. So once we have that grand piano moved in, we are going to be making so much more music content. You are going to be hearing and seeing me play piano way more than you do now. So this past summer, it's been tough. I just don't have access to a piano. The only time that I can get to my piano is when I visit my older sister. She has a piano in the house. So that's about it. Cherish asks, why did you start beef only? Honestly, because in my challenge meetings, I had a few ladies who were doing beef only, and they would always talk about it in the meetings. They would always update everyone and me. And those updates progressively got so good, like better and better and better. They would always report back. And by the way, let me shout out these ladies who, exposed me to beef only. Nick, Penny, Raymond, always talked about it, how great he felt. So their great updates basically rubbed off on me. It kept piquing my curiosity. And that's the great thing about these community meetings that I host. When one person brings up an idea or a goal or an activity they want to stay on top of, everybody else wants to do it too. We all want to build better habits and do healthy things for our life together as a community. What I really wanted to improve and optimize through beef only was my mental clarity. And guess what? It happened. In fact, it was the best solution ever. Nicole, hi Nikki, asks, body composition changes, leaner, pudgier? I'm gonna put some photos of me showing you how loose my clothes are now. Last summer, this pair of shorts, these pink and white shorts, it fit me perfectly. Like when I clasped it, it was just perfect, skin tight. But now, do you see how loose it is? I can literally fit my whole fist in it, but it still stays on my hips. But still, it used to ride up really high up on my waist, like here. By the way, I'm wearing panties because it's so hot. But now they're like all the way down here, but at least they don't fall off, and they're super comfy and cute. I don't weigh myself on the scale for a reason, because all I need to see and feel that my body is changing, the only proof I need are my clothes. And I honestly think clothes are the best way to know whether or not your body is changing. Have a go-to outfit just in your closet, untouched, and wear it only when you want to check in on how your body is. Because you know how clothes can sometimes stretch. If you wash them and dry them all the time, they can shrink. So if you just set aside an outfit that's like pretty skin tight now, set it aside, put it on maybe like every 2-3 weeks just to see how your body is changing. That to me is the most accurate and safest marker to know whether or not your body is changing. To answer that, Nikki, my body has gotten tighter, has gotten leaner. My boobs, by the way, they have not shrunk. So how amazing is that? I still get to keep the assets, the size that I want, whereas everything else, they're leaning up, they're toning up. I'm very happy with my body today. Jennifer asks, do you think beef only made you more sensitive to other carnivore foods? So that's a great question. And unfortunately, I can't answer that yet because I'm still on beef only. I'll be breaking it when my shipment of lamb arrives. In fact, I should actually shout out Billy Doe Meats because that's the shop, the farm that I ordered my lamb from. So the issue that I have with lamb is that I always find lamb too gamey in flavor. Every time I put lamb in my mouth, I always spit it out because I just can't stand that gamey, distinctly pungent taste. It's usually in the aftertaste. So that's why, I went on Instagram and I asked my fellow carnivores, you guys, for recommendations on how I can eat lamb and enjoy it, maybe certain cuts, maybe certain shops. And a lot of you mentioned Billy Doe Meats. So the special thing about Billy Doe Meats is that they do not age their beef or their lamb. So by not aging, it won't have that pungent, gamey aftertaste, apparently. So again, I have not tried it yet. I haven't even gotten the box of lamb yet, but they are sending me a bunch of their lamb cuts. So I have to shout out and thank Billy Doe Meats. If you guys want to check them out, I'll link them down below as well. So that's going to be the first food I reintroduce to break my beef only 5 months. I will be documenting every single day's worth of meals, and I will be sharing exactly how I feel, what I think of the flavor, and what I cook. Michelle Lalich, hello Michelle, love you so much. Do you just do fatty beef, or some days you will gravitate towards leaner cuts? Great question. The days where I need higher fat, my go-to, hands down, Costco ribeye roasts. That's literally the single meal that I crave and want whenever I need higher fat. Now, which days do I need higher fat? I never know. That's why I take it each day at a time. I will always try to be as honest and as in tune with my body and its appetite and what it craves. So the only trend that I have seen to be repetitive is my cycle time. I will need that higher fat. So I go to town with that. I do zero fasting. Usually after the period, I'm done with the Costco and I go to my leaner choice of meat, which is the ButcherBox ribeyes. Okay, so I have not found a leaner cut of meat that is as amazing and delicious and satisfying as the ButcherBox ribeyes. And you were probably thinking, but ribeyes, ButcherBox ribeyes, like, aren't they still so fatty? You'd be surprised. Grass-fed, grass-finished ribeyes are not fatty at all, but it works for me. It's perfect to give me that offset between like fattier days and leaner days. Is it okay to eat not grass-fed meat? Absolutely. By no means do you have to feel obligated to eat grass-fed meat. I should be more specific. You don't have to eat grass-fed, grass-finished meats because most meats are grass-fed but finished with grain. So to answer that question, absolutely not. You eat what you love the most, okay? If you feel like the flavor in grass-fed grain finished, for example, the Costco ribeyes are just the best flavor in the world, eat it. Eat it every single day if you want. Don't feel like you need to eat grass-fed, grass-finished because all of the elite carnivores and everybody is eating that as well, or even because I'm eating it. ButcherBox ribeyes and their beef is grass-fed, grass-finished, and I love it not because it's grass-finished. I don't care, okay? I love it because the flavor, so good. It's so good. Can you please share your macros and calories for your body size? Tall girls rule. If you're in the tall girls club, comment down below. I'm 5'10", so I think maybe 5'8" and above is tall girls club. What are my macros and calories? I don't know. I have not known for the past 2.5 years. Ever since I went carnivore, I haven't really made it a point or went out of my way to see how many calories I eat in a day, to see what my macros are. I just deleted all of those things, all of the apps, right? Back in the day, I was, what was the app called? I don't even know, and I don't care, and I don't even want to share it with you guys. There were apps on my phone all the time of, tracking calories, tracking macros to make sure that I was under a certain number, to make sure that I was no higher in fat content in my day's worth of meals. I have kicked all of those habits, those horrible habits, out the door, and I have not opened the door to them ever since I went carnivore. So I really don't know how many calories I eat, and I have no idea what my macros are. To be honest, every day it does differ. Every day what I want in fat to protein will vary. And that's the beautiful thing about eating intuitively, which in my opinion is the only way and the best, most stress-free way to eat while enjoying life, while feeling great, right? All of these benefits you will get if you just trust the process and eat intuitively on carnivore. I did not notice anything different, good or bad. Is that normal on beef only? It's not the first time I've heard of such a remark. There are people who tell me I've tried beef only for a couple weeks, for months, and I really didn't feel any changes, good or bad, right? And that's honestly normal. So that's why I keep emphasizing beef only is not for everyone. It may be for most carnivores. It also matters how far along carnivore you are, right? If you jump onto the beef only wagon when you're only a few weeks into carnivore, you're just so new, you're still in the thick of the adaptation phase, well, you're gonna feel beef only differently. It's going to impact you way more different than if you tried it a year down the line. Another thing that I do see to be very key is, are you eating enough? Are you truly feasting? This applies to not only beef only, but carnivore as well. If you're just eating to somewhat full, right? If you're still portion controlling your meals, you are missing out on so many benefits that you could be getting literally today by eating enough. And when I say eating enough, eating way more than you think, especially the ladies who are watching. I have so many women who are in my challenge meetings who report back to me week after week. Oh my gosh, Coach Raymond, Bella, I did not know that I was under eating this much. Because in those meetings, we keep encouraging, hey, just this weekend, we want you to try one thing. Up the amount of beef you're eating, up the amount of meat you are putting on that plate, and let us know the next meeting how you feel. And they always come back saying, oh my gosh, I realize that I'm under eating, and I realize that I'm feeling so much better by eating so much more. So I just wonder, I don't have enough details for you, from you, and I just wonder if maybe you weren't feeling the benefits you could have felt because you just weren't eating enough. Can you just eat beef only forever if it's how you feel the best? I feel like I could. At this very moment, I feel like for the rest of my life, I could just eat nothing but beef, just based on how amazing it has made me feel. Now, with one exception, actually, I keep forgetting about this, but the only exception is if I'm pregnant. When I'm pregnant, I most definitely have to be pregnant. I want kids, I want my own babies, I want to be pregnant, I want to experience a carnivore pregnancy. So that's the only exception. If I'm pregnant and I suddenly cannot stand the taste of beef, I have beef aversion, well, of course, for my baby, I will eat something else. Hopefully still carnivore. But with that being said, the reason I am breaking beef only, it's not because I've come across any certain issues, it's because I'm a curious person and I want to keep experimenting, and I want to eat lamb and I want to give it another chance. So stay tuned for all the data that I will collect in the coming weeks. Liam asks, carnivore diet makes me sleepy and low energy. Have you dealt with this? 100% I have dealt with this, and I dealt with this extra hard during my first 2 months of carnivore, when I first went carnivore. So low energy and very sleepy feelings are very normal during carnivore adaptation. Even if you're coming from keto, even if you were already low carb before going carnivore, you may have to feel all of those things again, just because you're cutting those last bits of carbs, those fibers, those oxalates in the plants that you were eating. Things need to reset and readjust in your body, and your body will probably need more energy to adjust and adapt, which is why you will feel low energy. So embrace it if you can. That's my best advice, is if you can take naps throughout the day, it will really, really help, because your body just needs to rest. It just needs to recover. Another thing is exercise less just during adaptation or just during when you are feeling this dip in energy. Another thing to shed light on, electrolytes. I touched on them already, but let me just mention them again. Element is a nice brand if you just want a boost in electrolytes that's very convenient and easy to take on the go. They're just little packets and you can just put it in your water, drink it to make sure that you don't have to suffer those dips of energy and feel super sleepy. Steak and Butter Guy would use these anytime he has a heavy workout day, just so he doesn't have to sacrifice his energy. Those are going to be all the questions that I answer today. Overall, my last 5 months of beef only have been, simply put, life-changing. I did not know that I could feel even better than I felt before beef only, because I really thought beef, butter, and eggs were the perfect foods for me. But by cutting out the eggs and the butter, I was able to feel even better. So this is why I really urge you guys to just be your own N=1. Experiment with things, be open-minded, feel free to take on different challenges for yourself. But at the same time, do not feel pressured to have to go beef only just because I have all of these results. If you don't feel ready or willing to, do not feel pressured to do it. Honestly, at the end of the day, you should be eating the way that brings you the most joy, the most excitement to your life, that brings you the most convenience, and the way that is just the most sustainable. If you have to break your back, spend way more money than you're willing to eat a certain way, it's not going to be sustainable and it's not the right way to eat for you. So this is the beautiful thing about everybody's carnivore journey. It will change over time. So just be open-minded for it to change naturally. Again, if you want a community of real life carnivores and passionate, like-minded people who just want to get healthy, lose weight, feel better, consider joining my next 30-day challenge. I will be there to hang out with you, to converse with you, to answer your questions, and my excellent team of coaches, Raymond and Steven, will be in all of those meetings, guiding you, giving you their best advice in regards to what you want to troubleshoot on the carnivore diet. Okay, that was a long video. Thank you so much for watching. If you made it this far, please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Stay tuned for when I reintroduce my first new food, which is lamb. See you next time. SBG out.